I love the idea that my music is on some random projects in Australia or in Brazil and be placed into a scene that, could make someone laugh or make someone cry, and the fact that my music's there and existing in its own space is awesome. Hi, my name's Amy McKnight. I'm a composer, songwriter from London, working in production and bespoke composition. I've always been eclectic, always been into different styles of music. My mum was a jazz singer. My dad was a kind of pop rock enthusiast, so the house was always kind of a mixture of sound. Some days we'd have Aretha Franklin, sometimes the Rolling Stones. Really lucky that from a young age it was really encouraged. I never had anything else in my head. I've always been into production, but there was really kind of no role models around to kind of take that route as seriously. There's absolutely no representation in the media to show women making music. The closest I got to it was Missy Elliott, and I had to kind of investigating her career myself to figure that out. It wasn't kind of forefront that, she was a rapper. And Timbaland was the genius, and there wasn't really a conversation actually about how she was had just as much input to the production. It was really hard to see a future in that kind of world. There's two kind of big projects. The title music for a show called RooTube that was on Channel 4 back in the day, and that was my first bespoke composition. And when I got into top lining, I thought, well, no, this is enough. This is what I want. And then quickly realised that doors were being shut and I was kind of being stunted at how far I could move up that kind of songwriting ladder. So when I did get that bespoke cut, the way they spoke to me was different. No one was kind of challenging my credentials or my ability to compose. And then when I started building my network, music supervisors, music producers, production houses, had a completely different experience. I had replies, I had meetings, I had opportunities quite quickly by just demonstrating that I could do the job. I have kind of a sound palette that I pull from. So if the brief comes in and, you have your references selling Sunset, Netflix, reality TV, I already kind of have the sound in my head, but I always kind of try to approach it, okay, what can I do differently? What can I make that will stand out on this album? I really enjoy seeing my work. It's always nice and like kind of a fun thing to see. The one that sticks out to me was a Samsung advert across the line a couple of years back, and I was in Barcelona and it was on the cathedral, like the whole thing was just this big video and the whole street was just like Samsung, and it was my music, and I was like, that's wild. I mean, I'm biased, but I truly believe without music mediums wouldn't look the same, they wouldn't sound the same, they wouldn't feel the same, and they wouldn't have the same impact. So the first bespoke sync that I remember seeing was for Herbal Essences. And I remember the first time I was kind of just in my house and then I heard the intro, and it's a very specific intro. It has like a little brass line. It goes da 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 bang, and then I was like, that's me! And I literally ran over to the TV. Me and my partner were like extremely excited. And you think you don't care about those things, and like I don't know, I'm just quite shy about it. Like I said, I don't really overly share stuff on social media, but when you're kind of behind the scenes, it is quite nice to kind of experience that win. I normally start with some type of drums or percussion lines, and then again try and do some percussive hits and get those flourishes and those bits that I call ear candy, where I kind of know what I'm doing on a musical instrument. But somehow I can hear the whole kind of composition in my head, so I can just get into a rhythm. I have an amazing assistant co-composer called Charlie Bode, who works with me on all my long form stuff and helps me, keeps me in check. I'm a huge fan of collaboration. In production music, I would say it's 50-50. Sometimes I'm just cracking on by myself, and then other times I get a lot of producers sending me stuff just to top line. It's a great way of, first of all, kind of diversifying my kind of portfolio, getting more songs out into the world, but also just good for the mind to work on stuff that you haven't done everything on. What I love about the production music side of things is how accessible it makes music for other creatives, and to me, having access and opportunity for different resources is super important, and it's really great that production music kind of allows the reach of music to be out there for more creators, for more editors, for more filmmakers to be able to access. I love the idea that my music is on some random projects in Australia or in Brazil, and I'll never hear it, but someone does, and it can work and be placed into a scene that, could make someone laugh or make someone cry, and the fact that my music's there and existing in its own space is awesome.